So, hi everyone, Sat Shri Akal, Namaste, good evening, and welcome to the first edition of this pod. Today with me, we have two guests joining. The first one is Manpreet, who is my, one of dearest friends, and he's a childhood friend. He is currently serving in Air Force, and he's very close to my heart. On the other hand, I have Shivdeep, who is my fellow colleague, and Shivdeep currently works as a trainer. Shivdeep started his career with hospitality industry and has been associated with brands such as Hyatt and Taj. And currently he's also pursuing ecology, basically. He's also a poet, and he loves to talk about consciousness, mental health and philosophy. And the very interesting thing is he often uses pretty heavy words such as emotional intelligence, vibrational energy and locus of control, which is beyond at least my level. I don't know. First of all, welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for joining on the first edition of this podcast. So why we are having this first podcast? Because we all are stuck at our home, and we know no matter how much we try, there are a lot of things which are bothering us, and there are a lot of things which we can clearly see as a brighter side of the current situation, whether we are stuck at home or whether we have to work from home and all those things. So this edition we're gonna talk about what are the issues that going on in your house, or what are the issues that you're thinking about outside your house, and how do you foresee about all of this situation, and what is the brighter side of all this. So I just want to talk about these two people. Both of them are Punjabi. They love food. They are very good at heart. They love meeting new people, and both of them are very jolly. Shivdeep on the higher side of being jolly. Manpreet on the other hand is just like me. So we would like to start from you guys. Why did I mention about you guys being Punjabi, loving food and very good at heart, is that I want to understand how are you guys tackling this situation. So Shivdeep, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I like you mentioned, I try to look at the brighter side of the situation, and is that this is the time that we can become more grounded. So we have been busy with our lives for quite some time now, and this is the time that we can just sit at a place and think where are we heading towards, and what's just happening around. Just giving ourselves the time to observe our own thoughts. So
Definitely.
I look at it that way. It's also kind of a rest. I see my other family members, though I'm the only one who is working right now. Work from home is only applicable to me.
Okay.
So I see that my dad is watching a few TV series on Netflix and Prime and Hotstar, and my mom loves to cook, so she's involved in that. My sister is a dentist. She's also having some time off. So I see that they are not only enjoying their time, but they are also getting a bit creative. My sister has started to do some kind of art. So I am looking at it in that sense. Of course, we will talk about the lower side also when that question arises. So yeah, it's time to get grounded, I feel.
Awesome. Thanks, Shivdeep. And Gurpreet, आप बताओ आपका क्या हाल है? Like you said, आप छुट्टी में गए हुए और you are stuck there. Yeah.
I exactly support Shivdeep's comment that we should be grounded. This is the time that everybody should be grounded, and people, what I think, they should increase their horizon. People are not they are thinking कि क्या चल रहा है लाइफ में, 21 दिन बंद, कुछ नहीं हो रहा, but everything what happens is for good only. Like let's move on to this Punjabi thing. I'm settled in village, and my parents are here. So for me leave is like साल में अभी 60 दिन की छुट्टी में से अगर गाँव में अगर आप 60 दिन बिता रहे हैं तो एंड दिस टाइम एक्चुअली इट इज़ ऑसम. You are not going anywhere else and you are sitting here and exploring everything which you can't do in the rest of the year, like especially घर का खाना. That's what I feel.
Definitely, and being a defense person, obviously that's two of the most important things that you miss. Your time with the family and your home cooked food. Definitely, yes, Manpreet.
This exactly यार. घर पे रहना और घर की सारी चीज़ें देखना और करना, then you feel like yeah, this is what I'm missing in my rest of the other life. And खाने को लेके तो बस घर वाले स्पेशली द मॉम्स आर वेरी सेंटी एंड रिगार्डिंग दिस भाई खाना मतलब सुबह उठो मुंह धोना दो पहले हाथ धो, ठीक है ना, देन उसके बाद रेस्ट डू एवरीथिंग एंड एवरी हाफ एन आवर शी विल रिमाइंड भाई हाथ धो लो हाथ धो लो हाथ धो लो. Same is with father. Like I'm here in village. There are restrictions, but not as what I can see. The restrictions are there in cities.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Thanks Manpreet. So I think the village life seems to be not that impacted because the restrictions which are posed on the rural side is not that extent, and for obvious reason because what we observe and what we are witnessing now is the urban part of the countries are getting infected or affected by this very rapidly compared to the rural section. But definitely, like how Manpreet mentioned, I completely agree that his family is taking precaution, he's taking precaution, and so all of us would be. If I have to talk about my situation, what I firmly believe is although work from home used to be a comfort, a luxury before, but day by day it's getting difficult to adjust. What's happening good is that we are learning as a family member how to tolerate each other. There were a lot of issues which happens in every family because normally we don't get to spend so much of time together, and we are not packed, or we never got into such situation where we have to spend time with them. And certainly this time when certain situation occurs, it becomes really difficult for any one of them, no matter how much you love them, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your siblings, or whether it's your parents or anyone. But what really good is happening, that we are trying to tolerate their habits, or they are trying to tolerate our habits. For example, very small habits like sleeping till late, or watching a lot of TV. And in fact, all of our family members are getting time together to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, at least 2 meals a time, which is a good thing, which I feel. So thank you, Manpreet and Shivdeep here again for your responses. Now, there are many issues as well which we see apart from our home. So first of all, I want to talk about those people who do not have option to work from home. For example, businesses like constructions, or delivery boys, or daily wagers. It is impacting them a lot. So what is your take on that? And what you think about, or do you also feel worried about them? Because people from the banking sectors and the sectors that I've mentioned before, they are the essential services. So what do you guys think about, and do you think of what solution you can probably suggest here?
Vikas. So I'm seeing a lot of news. First of all, it's I think the primary step here should be kind of creating an awareness which is missing from the media houses. I was a few days back, I was watching a news which was appreciating a lot of the work that our Prime Minister had done lately on just that one speech that he had, a 30-minute speech, and then the next day we had to clap outside our houses. So one of the media houses was just talking about that and appreciating all the efforts, but also I see that there's a miss from the media, that we are not getting aware of the current situation at hand. So when I was watching one of the legitimate sources, I saw like the videos that they were showing, they were actually very painful to an extent that my sister asked me to change the channel. It was that painful. Like, we see a lot of laborers who were literally crying over the camera, and they are walking 40 kilometers, 50, 100 kilometers. Second thing that I feel that the government is already doing is reaching out to different institutions, like for asking for help, like be it food or be it any other kind of service. I think that Delhi has now started to utilize the spaces that they have to keep these laborers who have come from different states. Arvind Kejriwal has been very clear that people are not supposed to go outside Delhi. So I think though pain is there, measures are also being taken. Awareness is a little less.
Yeah, so obviously awareness is one of the factor which plays role here, and also like it's such a difficult time that we really cannot just watch the news and just hope or pray that things would happen good. A lot of people from my friend circle or even me, we thought about this, that what can be done from our end, because if people are gathering, then how do we protect them from getting infected if any one of them is infected, and also how can we protect ourselves. The second challenge was how to identify the right set of people who are in need. Okay, we don't have any government data, we don't have any official record of such things which we can use. So definitely these challenges are there, but people, I see a lot of people are willing to donate money. A lot of philanthropists in our country and in the world, a lot of politicians also are trying to donate money as well for this cause. Okay, Manpreet, so what is your take on this?
Yes, what I think is, for today in this situation, the daily wagers and the laborers, they are the guys which are suffering the most, because at the end of the day, if you ask them, if you want to choose them about between the do waqt ki roti and corona, probably they will choose do waqt ki roti. क्यों? क्योंकि एक तो they don't know what is corona and what is its effect, पहली चीज, and because in everyday life they are facing hunger. That is the more bigger issue than their health problem.
Also, if you talk about the probability of dying, if you're not eating, probably the chances of you dying is close to 100%, but if you're getting infected with this virus, the chances probably could be way lesser. I don't want to comment on the percentage part.
The finance minister also announces the relief, and PM also said that for next 3 months 5 kgs rice, atta will be free for the laborers. But who knows? But जिनको चाहिए उनको नहीं पता है. They don't have television. Nobody is able to tell them.
People are also migrating to their trying to migrate to their own villages again. They don't aware what is going to happen. They just see empty streets, no work, no food, no shelter, and they just try to rush towards their hometown or their village. Exactly, and very valid points, and that brings to another thought which I've been seeing on news, and I've quite been very active on sharing stories regarding that. Recently, what came in the light was the role of WHO in this whole situation. Like all the government in the entire world, they've been trying to ask their people to stay at home. But the bigger question is this enough, or was the steps taken at the right time was sufficient? Because in the news we see that the director of WHO, he was a health minister of Ethiopia, and China really helped with their different kind of project, and China also funded for Ethiopia elections and all those things. So when it comes to taking the right step at the right time, the WHO failed drastically. Okay, the cautions or precautions to or the advisory not to travel to China, and appreciating China in a documented form, that what steps China has taken, it was applaudable, and all those things, these were like done on a very poor level. So we're going to talk about this, and also we hear about this, that China got to know about their first case I think somewhere around November 17, and China tried to put a cap on that, cap in the sense like try to hide this news, did not take the right measures at the right time. But instead of that, the situation now is currently more stable in China compared to any other nation which has been affected majorly, and every day the situation is getting worse. So I just want to know your opinion on that.
Sure, Vikas. So, what I personally felt was that, of course, we are also dependent on the information that we are receiving, be it from legitimate news sources or be it from, WhatsApp University or whatever. So
that was actually one of my agendas about you hear a lot of news or rumors on the WhatsApp University. Do this, go and bake yourself in the sun and whatnot, and people believing about it. So thanks for involving this topic as well.
Yeah, we will bring it up. So I was also watching the interview. I think we saw the same interview that came on NDTV today, wherein WHO, one of the persons from WHO was being interviewed by 3 or 4 people from NDTV and other people who were involved or who are subject matter experts. So what I kind of found out from that person who was, whenever that person was being questioned on hiding the facts or delaying the exact news, which kind of resulted in now the world being in trouble completely. So obviously there's a gap there. Obviously we need to go back and think on what what could have done better. I think our Prime Minister also said in a recent conference that we need to rework on the entire system of WHO maybe and all these global organizations, because we need to give them some autonomy of certain extent. Because if like you mentioned earlier, China has played a major role in providing funds for WHO, then of course it kind of is understood that it becomes a little political, which it should not. It should be independent organization. So yeah, that's something that we can look at. I think right now the issue at hand is basically obviously addressing what the challenge we are facing, and I know and we all know that there will be documentaries coming in after 1 or 2 years about what will happen here. There will be a lot of stuff that will come out, a lot of files will be opened, but that's something that inevitably is something that we cannot think of right now.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Now might not be the situation, but I think the situation really demands a big learning what we can get, because I was going through when going through the news and the previous occurrence or previous such incidents when SARS was outbreak, and only what I remember from the news that I think 8,000 people were infected, and I think 800 people only died. And the director of WHO at that time criticized China badly. But now clearly when China has been trying to fund more and more in the international organizations where the other countries like US and UK have been trying to cut funds, China has really become powerful in those areas, and that's what China is trying to take advantage of. Thank you, Shivdeep. Manpreet, do you want to add something here?
Yes, I would like to say add upon this that this proving thing, it is in the state of progress. Like the facts and figures, they will come in future. Let's see what will happen. But I would like to say that for sure, if WHO would have taken some steps early at this stage, then surely that the situation which is now would have been avoided. So I think let's see what will happen in future, and who will be blamed and what will be.
Current time calls for the action more than looking to blame someone. So thank you once again, Manpreet and Shivdeep here. And now I want to talk about on a very lighter note, what do you miss most in all of this situation? Just you can name 2 things.
Okay, so to be honest, I love spending time at home.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah, I, to be honest, as of yet, I haven't been missing anything, but I think soon I'll start to miss maybe the people I meet every day at work. That's one of my favorite part of the day. I interact with a lot of people who are experts in their own field, and I have some nice conversations with them.
And you've been known for for your networking thing, so I can understand definitely.
Yeah, that's something that I naturally love. I think thinking of the second thing that I miss, I think even the friends that I have in office, or even around in the city, I think that's something that I'll eventually miss. As of yet, I won't say that I'm missing anything.
Okay, you missed calling my name, by the way. That you missed me, but yeah, it's okay. Just kidding.
I'm not missing you.
Okay, got it. We don't have to talk about it. Okay, yes, Manpreet. What do you miss? 2 things. Yes.
The missing thing, especially that's my daily routine only, and this is what I'm missing. Rest is normal. Rest is like normal work part. We will when this will end, everybody will be there and start a normal life.
Okay, great. I think when it comes to the normal life, I too miss it. But not being able to go outside is a bigger challenge here. So I think what I miss mostly is the freedom that I had before. The kind of food that I used to enjoy, outside food, and I miss driving or riding my bike. So I think I miss all of these things. So you can say that freedom to do anything is that's what I'm missing. Another thing which I want to ask about is seeing the brighter side of it, and when it comes to the nature, when it comes to our Mother Earth, we see a lot of changes happening around us. So if you can just add something in brief, what is your take on that?
So I think what has happened through this is, like I mentioned earlier also, so we always question our millennials, right? We are all also millennials, and we also question our thought process and how millennials feel kind of entitled for the stuff. So I think what this will do is it will change the consciousness, or the kind of thought process that millennials have to a thought process where whenever they would be doing something, taking an action, or talking about anything, they would relook at what could be the consequences of that, and then eventually it will see effects on our mother nature. The reason why I'm saying that is because we have a lot of energy, we have a lot of power. In fact, we have a voice now that media is helping us to put out. So I personally feel, from both Mother Nature's perspective and also a collective consciousness perspective, that this will change the entire thinking of how people think, especially of our age group. And it will, I think when we go old, we'll also be talking like our oldies, that hey, you haven't seen anything, we saw this, and that's how we grew, we became mature, we started thinking in a better way.
Awesome. Yeah, so how I see this is the situation has completely turned. All those memes or all those picture representation of how the situation has flipped. We visiting in the zoo and seeing the animals being trapped, and now we feel like the same way, trapped inside our houses, and the animals or the birds, anyone are free, easily roaming freely around us. So the situation looks more like a flip, and definitely it feels that it's giving a chance to Mother Nature to heal itself. That's how I see it. Manpreet, I have a question from you. First of all, I want to thank to all those people who have been helping us during this situation. All those essential workers like doctors, nurses, policemen, defense people. People who are selling groceries, people who are delivering stuffs, and people who are driving ambulances and all requirement services. And talking about those essential services, I think you belong to one of the institution which also plays a very important role, and even your work cannot be completely stopped, or you guys cannot work from home. So I want to understand, like, what are the drastic changes, or what are the not, I wouldn't say drastic changes, what are the few changes, or how is the defense coping up with that? Because you guys are also on the front, and your services are also essential, because if you guys sit at home, then probably a lot of worse things can happen. So a bigger thank to you and people like you who have been serving the nation. But yeah, just want to understand your opinion on that. How is the situation turned for you?
Thanks for the compliments. Yes, defense sector is the one which cannot close down in any situation. Yes, however, every sector is taking precautions, and defense is also in our ways and means we are taking precautions. Everybody is being restricted to the essential and very specific duties which are being given to them, and most of the people they are being restricted to their places where they are living. Get together, which generally happens every day on a daily basis in the defense, is now not taking place there. These types of precautions everybody is taking. Rest all administrative work and other tasks, they are in progress with restrictions.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think I am done. Like, I think we had a really nice chat, and before we say bye, I have a very fun section for you guys. So yeah, before we say goodbye to the first edition of our podcast, I would like to end it with one question to both Manpreet and Shivdeep here. So I would like to know from you guys, when this whole situation gets over, what is the first thing that you would like to do, and what is the change which you would like to see in this world after this whole experience?
So I'm involved in mental health and psychology. So I think the first thing that I'll try to go and check on my friends and the people I know, that if they're doing fine or not. I'm already doing it by messaging them. So I think that's the first and foremost thing that I'll look at, and I'll also observe. I'll just talk to people how they felt after this. And another thing that I'd like to do is, so I've been involved in a few marathons lately. So I think I'll just go for a run in the fresh air.
Manpreet, yes, you. What is the first thing that you would do, and what is the change that you want to see?
Because definitely, I actually in this leave, I actually plan to go and have some fun with my friends. So definitely, ये तो wish पूरी हुई नहीं है, तो it is on the top of the list. If I will have my leave in hand, and this thing will close down, definitely I would go and visit to Goa. If everything situation will be under control.
You can invite both of us. I think I am very much interested. And I don't know about Shivdeep.
Definitely.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. So thanks, Manpreet, for your answer, and definitely I agree to both of you. But if you want to know my thoughts on this, first of all, the very first thing that I wanted to do from a very long time is to travel outside India. So when the situation gets really settled down, and I will try all of my level best to travel to the most fancy places that I've been thinking about, mostly Europe. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And the change which I would like to see here is, I think after all of this, we would start realizing the importance of our lives, the freedom, or the resources that we have. We would I think start getting more thankful for all of them. So definitely that would be my primary agenda. If anyone does not feel the same way, tell them about this. you know, that how privileged they are if they were able to survive the situation. And I think the change that I would want to see in this world is start respecting resources. When it comes to resources, whether it is food, fuel, or lives of other people. And I think for a very big change, if possible, I would like to go vegan. Not vegan completely, but yeah, at least vegetarian to the max, not beyond that. So that is one change that I would like to see. Thank you again, guys, for joining me in this first edition of podcast, and I think it went really well. We were not really prepared for it, but yeah, the topics or the questions which common people or anybody who is locked down in their houses had, we try to discuss that, we try to bring that up. And thank you once again, Manpreet and Shivdeep, for joining. Yeah.
Thank you, Vikas. It was a really great conversation. And Manpreet, thank you. I've been associated with Yamunanagar. I keep visiting that place. It's my mama's house. So let's see if we can meet sometime.
Yes, definitely. I also hope the same. So with that being said, thanks guys for watching. If you have come this far, then yeah, I know it's a pretty long video, but yeah, podcast are supposed to be like that. And if you've come this far and if you're watching this, I hope you guys are also taking precautions and staying safe at your home. Do let us know what went well and what could have been improved in the comments. Until then, take care, stay safe, and hope let's all hope all of this gets better and ends as soon as possible. Okay, see you. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.